Life Practice community.
We're going to start in a comfortable seated position. Go ahead and find your sit bones. So you can rock back and forth, or maybe even like pull the flesh away out from under you to find the sit bones. And then place your hands on your knees with your palms facing the sky. By the way, we have two guests with us today, Harry and Eddie, my dogs. They'll be assisting with the yoga. If you're comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes, and we'll begin by breathing together. So together, let's take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Deep breath in, long breath out. Breathe in for 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 2, 3, 4. Breathe in for 2, 3, 4, and hold your breath at the top, and then let it go. 2, 3, 4, holding your breath at the bottom. One more time. In, 2, 3, 4, holding at the top, and let it go for 2, 3, 4, holding your breath at the bottom. Now continue breathing at your own pace. You want your breathing to be deep and even. Even means same number of counts on the in-breath as the out-breath. Take several more rounds of breath here, finding your own pace. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. We're gonna have a slow practice tonight. Everything about my surroundings in South Carolina is asking me to lead a slow practice. It's raining, it's dark. All right, so once your eyes are open, we're gonna start real slow by taking our right hand down to the mat, bending the right elbow, and taking the left arm up and over the head. Getting a nice stretch through the side of the body. Remember your breathing here. The gaze is up under the elbow, up towards the sky. Whenever you feel ready, go ahead and switch. So this time, the left hand is on the mat, right arm comes up and over. Again, gaze is to the ceiling, right past the elbow. Getting a nice stretch to the other side of the body. When you're ready, bring both hands down to the mat. Next, you want to take the right arm up over the head, placing the hand over the left ear, and then go ahead and pull gently the head down to the right shoulder. Remember your breathing. One more breath here. Now go ahead and switch. So the right hand comes down to the mat. Left arm goes up and over, pulling the head down to the left shoulder. And you may notice that one side is a little stiffer than the other. For me, this side is really annoyed that I'm doing this. With that right hand, kind of stretch it out. Maybe only your fingers are touching the mat. And that'll give you some extra jazz across the neck. And then when you're ready, bring the head back up to center. Deep breath in. And on the exhale, take the chin up towards the sky. Don't forget your breathing. One more breath here. And then slowly and gently come back up to center. Take a deep breath in at the top. And then exhale, take the chin down to the chest. So you're stretching the back of the neck. I can feel that all the way down my mid-back. And maybe on the out breath, you can feel your chin sink even deeper towards the chest. Whenever you're ready, bring the head back up to center. And let's go ahead and move into a wide-legged child's pose. So you're going to take your knees really wide, at least as wide as your mat, and then let the torso come down between the knees. Placing the forehead on the mat, walk your fingers forward. And then rock that forehead back and forth on the mat, giving yourself a nice forehead massage. When you're done with the forehead massage, you can stop, but I want you to stay in child's pose while I read you a centering passage for today's practice. The passage is from the book Daily Reflections on Addiction, Yoga, and Getting Well by Ralph Gates. He says, I will be forever grateful for the depth of feeling that yoga has helped me to access. But it was not enough to fundamentally change my point of view. My addict story did not end when I got sober. Everything I experienced during my first decade of recovery was organized within the distorting construct of my story. This included the experiences I was having on the mat. There were moments of peace and clarity, but it never occurred to me that I could experience life outside of my story. This was the problem I encountered when my daughter was born. My wife looked at me and told me in so many words, this is not going to happen within your story. You're going to have to open up your point of view to include entirely different ways of seeing things. Up until that point, if I experienced something, I would write it into my story. From that point on, I had to find a way to stop being the author and start being the learner. The reflection is, it helps to see what happens when you take a couple of breaths that are slow and deep. Breathe in a way that you can feel the breath from beginning to end. What happens to your story when you breathe that way? What happens to your story when you breathe in a way you can feel the spaces in between the breath? And what happens to the main character? All right, now walk your hands over to the right side of the mat, placing the left hand on top of the right, and then pulling the hips to the left. You should get a really nice stretch through your side body. And when you're ready, walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. This time the right hand goes on top of the left and the hips pull to the right, giving a really nice stretch through the other side of the body. And when you're ready, slowly and gently, honoring your body, come up to a neutral tabletop position. So in tabletop, you want your hands to be placed under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. On your next in-breath, I want you to take your right arm forward and your left leg back. This is a balancing posture, and we're just gonna hold here for 5, 4, gazes at the mat, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. On your next in-breath, take your left arm forward in space and your right leg back. Holding the gaze at the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. So now we're back in our neutral tabletop position. Feel free to wag your tail. I felt that inspiration, so I just started wagging. We're gonna move through a few cats and cows next. So on your in-breath, I want you to drop your belly low, lift your gaze. On your exhale, tuck your chin, sending your spine high. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck the chin, send the spine high. And again, you're moving with the pace of your own breath, not mine. But let's take this through several more rounds of breathing. Whenever you feel ready, just come back to a neutral tabletop position. We're gonna flow into our first downward dog of the night. And then we're gonna be doing some dynamic movements with the breath. So first thing I want you to do is walk your hands out a couple of inches forward. Instead of dumping a bunch of your weight into your wrists, I want you to firmly press your finger pads into the mat. So most of the weight should be in your finger pads, not your wrists. A lot of people get sore wrists when they're doing yoga, but it's because of a form issue. So holding that, pressing all 10 finger pads into the earth, I want you to tuck your toes into the mat and then push your hips back slowly, pressing the torso towards your quad muscles. Good. Go ahead and walk out your dog, bending your right knee and then your left. Really let that neck go. Gaze is back towards your knees. On your next in-breath, I want you to pull forward into tabletop. On the next out-breath, push back, downward facing dog. In-breath, pull forward to tabletop. Out-breath, push back, downward facing dog. Let's do that one more time. In-breath, tabletop. Out-breath, downward facing dog. Now go ahead and take your feet wide, as wide as the mat, and then walk the hands back towards the feet. So you're in hang time with your legs wide. I'm going to use a block, but you don't have to. I'm just going to place my hands on the block, but you're going to totally release your neck. And if you're doing this position properly, you should feel a nice stretch all along the back of the body. And I'm kind of bending my right knee and my left, slightly moving the hips back and forth. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and come up into a standing position. We're going to flow through Bikram half moon series. So on your in-breath, sweep the arms high, interlacing all fingers except the pointers. Take a deep breath in. And on the out breath, I want you to take your arms to the right, pulling your hips to the left for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the arms back to center. Deep breath in at the top. Exhale to the left for 5, 4. Hips are going to the right for 3, 2, 1. And back to center. Deep breath in at the top. Exhale, start working your way into a back bend. Your eyes are tracing the ceiling. Your weight goes into your toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Using your core, bring everything back up to center and go ahead and release your arms. Good, and just shake everything out. We're gonna work through mountain pose, which is the foundational pose in yoga, from which all other postures take inspiration. So for a proper mountain, your feet should be about hip width distance apart. Okay, and we really want to ground through the 4 corners of the feet. So the 4 corners are the big toe ball mound. So go ahead and press into your big toe ball mound. And then holding that, make an imaginary diagonal to your outer heel and press into that outer heel. This will really help with balance. Okay. The 3rd corner is the pinky toe ball mound. So press there. And then holding these 3 points, draw an imaginary diagonal to your inner heel and press there. So now you're pressing through the 4 corners of your feet. Okay. We build every yoga posture from the feet up to the head. All right. So holding what you've done here with your feet, I want you to bring your shins a little bit forward and your quads a little bit back. I want you to find a tuck in your pelvis. And when you do that little tuck in the pelvis, you should feel your core engage. I'm feeling a little bit of burning there. So holding that tuck, go and elongate the spine. Bring the shoulders up, back and down. Spin the palms outward. And then the last step is to take the chin slightly down and slightly back. And when you're doing it correctly, you should feel a nice stretch all down the body. I'll invite you to close your eyes here for a few breaths, feeling the energy that you've created already in your yoga practice flowing into the hands. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. So I mentioned today that this is going to be a gentle practice. I said it's raining, it's dark here in South Carolina. Also, your teacher's body doesn't want to go upside down today, so we're not going to do that very much. So whenever you're ready, just go ahead and let go of the mountain pose. And we'll move into some light warrior movements without the chaturanga. So go ahead and on the next in-breath, scoop the arms up. On the out-breath, I want you to take your right arm down and back, and then left arm parallel. So you're in a twist here. On your next in-breath, bring that right arm back up, both arms are over your head. And then exhale, take the right arm down again. Left arm comes parallel. We're in a twist. Let's move with the breath. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, drop the right arm, twist. Inhale, arms up. Exhale and twist. Inhale up. Exhale, step back into your warrior two. So in your warrior two, you can still find the four corners of the feet. Make sure that your bent knee is tracking towards your pinky toe of your foot. If it's tracking towards the big toe, you're more at risk for knee injury. Arms are parallel. The gaze is out over the front middle finger. We're going to do some more movement with our breathing. So on your in-breath, I want you to straighten the bent knee and sweep the arms overhead. On the exhale, come back down, warrior two. Inhale, straighten the legs, sweep the arms up. Good. Exhale, come back down, warrior two. Let's do that once more. Inhale up, straighten both legs. Exhale down, warrior two. Now listen closely. On the next inhale, just flip the front palm, keeping the front knee bent. And on the exhale, reverse your warrior. We're holding here for a couple breaths. You can really sink the hips down low if you want to work on more strength here. When you're ready, come back to your warrior two. And then I want you to just slowly and gently bring your feet back to hip width distance. Good, now we're just gonna repeat that on the other side. So inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, this time the left arm drops, right arm comes parallel. Good, inhale up. Exhale, drop the left arm, you're in a twist. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. Inhale up. Exhale, step back into your warrior two. You're going to be doing the warrior two on the other side. I'm going to be doing it the same way so that my back is not to you. Good. On your next in-breath, straighten the front leg, sweep the arms up high. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten the front leg, sweep the arms up. Exhale, warrior two. On your next in-breath, simply flip the front palm. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Now holding here for a couple breaths. Whenever you're ready, come back to your warrior two. And then take a couple steps in with that back foot, shaking everything out. All right, good. So we're going to do some standing ab work real quick. So take your hands to your hips. Feet should be about hip width distance apart. Take a deep breath in. And on the out breath, I just want you to kick your right leg forward. So keep it straight, kick it forward. Good. So your heel is off the ground, doesn't have to be that far off the ground. We're working on strength, balance. We're holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and release. Good. Oh, and just kind of walk out your feet. Let's take a break with the ab work here and work on our wrists a little bit. So my wrists have been pretty achy. I do a lot of work online. Well, all of my work. So let's go ahead and take the right arm forward, pulling back on the right fingers with the left hand. Oh, that feels good. And then go ahead and flip the fingers down, pushing the palm of the right hand back towards the body with the left hand. And then shake out the hands. Maybe do a couple of wrist rolls, a few in one direction, and then go ahead and reverse the direction. And then we'll work with the left wrist. So take the left arm forward, pulling back on the fingers. And go ahead and flip the palm, fingers pointing down towards the ground and pulling back. Good. Now let's do the other ab work on the other side. So this time, take a deep breath in, hands are on hips. On your exhale, kick the left leg forward. Oh, it doesn't matter how high you're kicking. Okay, you just want that left heel off the ground. We're holding here for 10, 9. It can help to find a fixed spot to gaze at on the floor for your balance. For 6, 5, 4, 3, grounding down through the 4 quarters of the right foot. For 3, 2, 1, and release. And let's just go ahead and make our way down to the mat. So we're going to be in a seated position on the mat. Oh, my knees just cracked. That was fun. Did you hear that, Harry? All right, so we're in a seated position on the mat. And we're going to go ahead and spread the legs wide. And you may need a block for this, just depending on how tight your inner thighs are. So you're going to spread the legs wide, okay? And then we're actually going to find our edge by pushing the pelvis forward. So you want to be feeling a good stretch, but not pain. Okay, so once you found that spot, I want you to take your block, or if you're not using a block, you can simply take your hands down to the floor and then walk yourself forward until you've reached a slightly uncomfortable but not painful edge. And again, you can do this with a block. I like the block. It feels not as scary. When you breathe in, imagine that breath going into your inner thighs. And maybe on the out breath, you sink a little bit lower. Take a few more rounds of breath here. Three more breaths. And when you're ready to come back up, do so very slowly and gently. So walking your hands back and then pulling the legs in. We're going to go back into a bridge. Tonight, I'm going to do a supported bridge myself. So for supported bridge, we use a block, but you can also do regular bridge without a block. So we'll meet up on our backs. So we'll lie down on our back. Our arms are going to come down next to the sides. Knees are up, soles of the feet are on the mat. And then we're going to walk the heels of the feet back towards the fingers and see how close we can get. Can we get them to touch? It doesn't matter if you can't. Looks like tonight I can't. Just get them as far as you can, as close as you can, rather. And then if you're using the block, I want you to go ahead and take it and slip it under your sacrum. Okay? For those of you who are doing a bridge without the block, take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, push the hips up towards the sky. Squeezing the glutes. We're going to hold here for 5 breaths. Now remember what I told you about mountain pose. So even in bridge, we should be pushing down through the 4 corners of the feet. 2 more breaths here. Whenever you've taken your 5th breath, or when you feel ready, go ahead and lower back down towards the earth. Now go ahead and take your feet at least as wide as the mat, letting the knees drop in towards each other. So you're going to push your knees together here. So give them a push. Push them together for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop open. This is Supta Baddha Konasana. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and slide your feet forward, coming to rest in Shavasana or corpse pose. So you want your palms to be facing the sky. You can take your arms and your legs as wide as is comfortable for you. If you're comfortable with it, close your eyes. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, just find a fixed point to gaze upon. While in Shavasana, thoughts will come and go, and I want you to treat them like passing clouds in the sky. So you can observe them, notice their presence, and let them go. Really let your body sink into the mat. We'll be here for a couple of minutes. When you're ready, start to bring a little bit of movement back into your fingers and your toes. Good. And then your arms and your legs. And then go ahead and pull the knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice squeeze. Sending yourself some gratitude. If you want to, you can even pull up into happy baby. With that, the hands are going to go, yeah, there you go. Good. To the outside of the heels. And then you pull the knees down and then rock left and right, giving yourself a nice back massage. And then slowly and gently roll off to one side. Good. And you can make your way up to seated, moving at your own pace. So we will end how we began, in a seated posture, legs crossed, hands on knees, palms facing the sky. If you're comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. We're going to take 3 concluding breaths together. Together, let's take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Let it go. Open your mouth. Deep breath in through the nose. Out breath, open mouth, let it go. One more time. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, mouth open, let it go. Now go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. Sending yourself gratitude for showing up on your mat. Sending gratitude to your fellow yogis practicing with you today. And to the dogs making extraneous noise in the background. Deep breath in. Exhale, namaste.